In exactly 24 hours, every person on Earth will weigh 50 pounds less. In 48 hours, the oceans will start climbing the walls of continents. In 72 hours, hurricanes will make tornadoes look like gentle breezes. And in just 6 months, well, let's just say you'll want to hear this entire story. Welcome back to Planetary Possibilities. I'm Arya, and today we're exploring what might be the most terrifying scenario our planet could face. What if Earth started spinning faster every day? You think you know what would happen? Trust me, you don't, because the reality is far more horrifying than you imagine. Let's start with day one. You wake up on what seems like a perfectly normal Tuesday morning, but something feels off. Your coffee mug slides across the kitchen table for no apparent reason. Your dog is walking a bit funny, like he's drunk. The weather app is showing wind speeds that don't match what you see outside. Most people would dismiss these as coincidences, but what they don't realize is that Earth's rotation has increased by just 1% overnight. That doesn't sound like much, does it? Here's the thing about physics. Small changes in massive systems create enormous consequences. When Earth spins faster, centrifugal force increases. That invisible force that pushes everything outward from the center of rotation. Right now, at Earth's equator, you're moving at about 1,040 miles per hour through space. You don't feel it because everything around you is moving at the same speed. But increase that by just 1%, and suddenly objects start behaving strangely. They want to slide toward the equator. Your inner ear, which controls balance, starts sending confused signals to your brain. By day 3, something else becomes apparent. Days are getting shorter. Not by much, maybe a few minutes, but enough that atomic clocks around the world are registering the change. Scientists are starting to panic, but they're not telling the public yet. By the end of the first week, Earth is spinning 7% faster than normal. A normal 24-hour day is now about 22 hours and 20 minutes. Weather patterns that depend on the Coriolis effect, the way Earth's rotation influences moving air and water, are going completely haywire. But here's what's really terrifying. This is still the calm before the storm. Week 2. Earth is now spinning 15% faster. The centrifugal force at the equator has increased so dramatically that you would literally weigh 30 pounds less if you lived in Ecuador compared to living at the North Pole. But that's not even the worst part. The oceans are moving, all of them. Water, being liquid, responds immediately to centrifugal force. Trillions of gallons are flowing away from the poles and toward the equator. Coastal cities like New York, London, and Sydney are experiencing unprecedented low tides, while equatorial regions face massive flooding. The Amazon rainforest is underwater. The Sahara Desert has become a shallow sea. Meanwhile, massive areas of ocean floor near the poles are exposed for the first time in millions of years. By week 3, the day-night cycle has compressed to about 18 hours. This is wreaking havoc on every living thing. Plants can't photosynthesize properly. Animals are confused about when to sleep, when to hunt, when to migrate. Ecosystems that took millions of years to evolve are collapsing in weeks. But the real nightmare is just beginning. Week 4. Days are now only 16 hours long. The temperature differences between day and night are becoming extreme because there's less time for heat to distribute. Massive storms are forming unlike anything in recorded history. Remember, the Coriolis effect determines how storms rotate. But when Earth spins much faster, this effect becomes supercharged. We're talking about hurricanes with wind speeds exceeding 300 miles per hour, tornadoes that stretch from the ground to the stratosphere. And here's something that will keep you awake at night. The atmosphere itself is starting to redistribute. Just like the oceans, air is being pushed toward the equator by centrifugal force. The polar regions are literally running out of breathable air. Governments are starting to evacuate entire countries. Mass migrations unlike anything in human history are beginning. Billions of people are trying to move to the few remaining stable zones. But where can you go when the entire planet is going insane? Month 2. Earth is spinning twice as fast as normal. A day is now 12 hours long. The planet has literally changed shape. It's become noticeably more bulged at the equator and flattened at the poles. The continents themselves are shifting. Tectonic plates, which normally move inches per year, are suddenly under enormous new stresses. Earthquakes are constant. Volcanoes that have been dormant for thousands of years are erupting. But here's the strangest part. Some regions are actually becoming more habitable. The Arctic and Antarctic, once frozen wastelands, are experiencing temperate weather for the first time. The massive ice sheets are melting rapidly, but the reduced air pressure means it's actually comfortable to breathe there. Meanwhile, the equator has become hell on Earth, not just because of the flooding and extreme weather, but because the centrifugal force is so strong that nothing can stay put. Buildings collapse not from earthquakes, but because their foundations can't hold against the outward force. Month 4. Days are 8 hours long. At this point, any humans still alive have clustered in narrow bands around the 45th parallels, roughly the latitude of Minneapolis or northern Italy. These are the only places where the balance of forces allows for anything resembling normal life. But even here, survival is barely possible. The constant acceleration means your inner ear never adjusts. Everyone is perpetually dizzy and nauseous. Sleep is nearly impossible with the rapid day-night cycles. Month 6. This is it. Days are now just 4 hours long. Earth is spinning 6 times faster than normal. The centrifugal force at the equator is so strong that if you could somehow stand there, you would weigh nothing. In fact, you would be flung into space. The atmosphere has been stripped away from most of the planet. Only the polar regions retain breathable air. The oceans have formed a massive ring around the equator, held in place only by gravity fighting against centrifugal force. And here's the final, terrifying question. At what point does centrifugal force overcome gravity entirely? The answer is about 17 times faster than normal rotation. At that point, Earth would literally tear itself apart. Chunks of the planet would be flung into space. The equatorial bulge would break away entirely. But here's what's truly mind-bending. This entire scenario could theoretically be triggered by something as simple as a large asteroid impact or massive volcanic event that disrupts Earth's rotational momentum. The fact that our planet spins at exactly the right speed to support life isn't just convenient, it's miraculous. We're balanced on a knife's edge of physics, and we don't even think about it. So the next time you wake up and your coffee mug stays exactly where you left it, take a moment to appreciate that simple miracle. Thanks for exploring this terrifying possibility with me. I'm Aria from Planetary Possibilities. What other cosmic scenarios would you like us to investigate? Let me know in the comments below, and remember, in space, everything is possible, but not everything is survivable.